One minute. So, madam, these are assets that you claim you have no knowledge or you don't know if they are there. So how do you now keep your assets? How do you protect your asset so that tomorrow, after spending public funds on vehicles, we don't have officers from the ministry coming to sit here to say that they are not aware, they cannot trace the equipment or the assets that public funds have gone into. So please,
Madam,
let us know.
We have the fixed assets coordinating units. Now they are the ones that are actually guarding the assets of the ministry. So, but in the future, maybe I might not be there, so I can't say anything for it. But currently, the fixed assets coordinating unit is ensuring that the assets are there. They have everything about the assets. We have information on them. Currently, that's what the fixed assets coordinating unit is doing. But for the future, I can't say.
I'm not talking about the future. I'm talking about what you are doing currently to prevent such an occurrence from happening again. We'll be happy to have a copy of your fixed assets register to see whether all your assets have been duly captured as you are supposed to. Thank you.
Madam, we have a copy, but it's the bulk of it, but we can give the committee because it's in the soft copy. We can give the committee.
Well, the committee has requested for a copy, and so we will have to look at it. Yes, Doctor.
Madam, that her last response just pricked me. So you have an assets register, and yet you don't have record of those Nissan vehicles. Is that the case? How do you reconcile that? What do you really have in the asset register?
Mr. Chair, this is 2011. So even if it were to be in the fixed assets register, it might have been depreciated and it might have been taken off already.
Okay, so madam, in the register, do you have records of assets way back as 2011 or latest 2020? How do you, what is the time frame within which your asset register records hold?
You know, currently on GIFMIS, so that is where we can take it from. Currently on GIFMIS, all the assets, the moment you buy it, it is registered on GIFMIS. So that is how come we are able to trace it.
So in your specific case, what's the time frame that you have? What was the last date that your last asset was put in there? Do you have?
I think not.
In other words, what is the date? What time period do you have your assets in that record? Is it from 2020 to date? Is it from 2018 to date? What is the time period?
I think the last one might be 2024 because we bought a bus. So then that is the last one that I can remember off my head, that we recorded the bus that was purchased into it. But aside that, I can't go back unless maybe I check and tell you. But then if I give you the assets register, it might be there.
So, Madam, I want to verify this from you. In all this, the agents that you actually purchase the item from, there is no communique from them to you, your outfit, that you are owing them.
That is what I'm saying, that after the auditors wrote to Japan Motors, that this is it, they didn't respond to Japan Motors, but then they wrote to the ministry telling us that we owe them this amount. And so that is where now we are taking it from.
Japan Motors wrote to the ministry that you are owing them.
Yes.
So all along, there is no communication between you and them for a long time that you are owing them. No communication until the auditors came in.
I believe there might have been some communications. But what
Madam, here is a situation where you cannot trace the assets, yet they are telling you owe them. You are telling us you can't trace the assets. And since 2011, but yet you're saying they have written to the ministry saying that the ministry owes them some money. Yet the assets for which, they are claiming the money, the ministry is telling us that they don't have records, they can't find it. How do you reconcile the two?
I'm speaking. Madam, the issue is, I was in the ministry in 2023. Japan Motors didn't write to us. 2024, they didn't write to us. It is 2025 when the auditors wrote to them to confirm it, and they wrote to the ministry. going through records, I realized that in 2018, a director wrote to them that they should give information on it. They never gave. So,
Madam, my issue is not Japan Motors writing to you. My issue is, where is the assets on which they are laying that claim on? That's all I'm asking.
The assets is not in the ministry.
So if it's not in the ministry, and then you sit here and say they have written to you, and so now it's a charge. It is something that we should look into. I don't really understand. They are laying a claim on an asset which they say they have sold to you. We cannot find the assets. So then, how do we confidently say that in 2018 the ministry wrote, they did not respond to us? It is now that they have written, so there's a charge or a claim on government to come and pay some outstandings. But meanwhile, the assets on which the outstandings are being, the outstandings are being made or claimed for, we cannot find them. Minister, you have a lot to do at your ministry. You have to get to the bottom of this issue. Japan Motors, according to your finance director, is saying that you owe them based on a certain asset that was purchased, the vehicle that was purchased. The same finance director is telling us that they cannot find, they don't know the whereabouts of this assets. Respectfully, you have to get to the bottom of this to help us bring some finality to this issue.
Thank you. The challenge I notice is that the ministry over the years has transformed severally. Agencies that used to be with the ministry have been taken away, and they took away particulars that could be referenced to these things we are talking about. For example, social welfare, where the vehicles were sent, is no longer with us. So I think that we would need to go back to history, or that we may have to refer some of the issues to the specific ministries that are now relevant to the questions. Yeah.
Two questions. Apart from the minister, the gentleman who accompanied the lady, do you have anything to say about what we are questioning her about?
Yes. For example, when the auditors queried the Japan Motors about what we owe them, they didn't reply to them at all. And once they didn't reply, Japan Motors, the auditors will assume that these are records that cannot have bearings, and so they categorize them as maybe as false information that we say we owe and didn't owe.
No,
it was incumbent upon Japan Motors itself to reply. Sorry,
Minister,
Japan. Yes.
The auditors did not classify it as false information. What the auditors said was that this has been included in the amounts to be justified before payment. So the auditors did not exclude this, but they are saying that come and justify this amount, and based on the justification, they will pay. So in the books, it is still outstanding, but the auditors are asking you to come and justify, and you can justify with the assets and relevant documentation to that assets. That is it. So it is still in the books, and they want justification. Once the justification is completed, payments can go on.
Honorable Minister, I was asking the other gentleman who came with you.
Oh, okay.
Do they have anything to say about what the accounts lady is talking about?
Honorable Chairman, thank you very much for the opportunity. I don't know whether it is specific to the vehicles or
yes, specific to the vehicle.
Unfortunately, no.
Okay. Yes, sir.
No, Honorable Minister.
You don't have anything to say. Chief Director, you don't know anything about it. Okay. Yes, sir. The gentleman on the right.
No, Chairman, these are issues pertaining to the main ministry, not the other agencies. So
which then ministry?
The main ministry.
The main ministry. No, so you don't know anything about it. Madam, has anybody asked Japan Motors, whom they supposedly sell the vehicles to?
Mr. Chair, that is what I was saying, that one director actually reached out to Japan Motors, but then for documentations and anything, we didn't get it.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, Mr. Chair,
Let's move
on the basis of this answer, Madam, what would have been the basis for a director to write to Japan Motors inquiring about our outstanding bills with them if the director was not of any opinion that indeed there are assets that we have, there is a payment that we have seen being made of 40%, and therefore an outstanding liability that we ought to pay? Because it will flow from that. That is why that liability will still be lingering on the books and be sent to the Ministry of Finance for verification for payment. Because the letter you claim was written by a director of the ministry to the agency asking for the outstanding balance. So it means that there is a certain admission that these things were there. So today we are being told that these things, the assets are not with the agency. Are there any documentations on the disposal of those assets that you cited? Because you know that these assets came. Are there any documentations that you cited on the disposal of these assets?
No, please.
So where are the cards? There are no documentations to disposal. You can't obviously say conclusively as to where the assets are.
Mr. Chair, that is why I started by saying that we started this state. This was a vehicle under the Ministry of Social Welfare under LIP. Time has passed and it was under LIP. So there has been time, almost all the directors there now.
Madam, I understand you perfectly. But this is not our personal vehicles where you can dispose of or you can put away easily. Usually when it's a public vehicle, there are processes. So we are asking, let us trace where the vehicle is, because Japan Motors is laying claim that you owe them based on the vehicles that we bought. And we are asking that, so where are the vehicles, or where is the vehicle? Show us where it is. You don't know where it is. Did we dispose that vehicle off? If we did, what is the process? Where are the documentation? So we need to find an answer to this. So, Minister, we cannot do it here. And we ask that as you go, you look into this and help us know exactly where the vehicle is, whether it's still in the books of the agency that took hold of it, or it's been disposed of, and how it was disposed of. That's all, Minister. But we need to get to the bottom of this issue, because this is a vehicle. It's a public vehicle. It cannot just vanish. Yet we are being asked to come and pay outstandings on it. The director here confirmed that already you have paid 40% on that amount, on the vehicle. Thank you.
Yeah, Madam Chair, let me thank you very much. I already said that because the agency in question is no longer with the ministry, we will trace to check historical records and get back to you once we get the required information. And so we will make sure this is properly aligned. Thank you.
Minister, because of the way things have gone and then your time and then busy schedule, is it feasible to recommend that IYOCO come in and do the needful? IYOCO to do the needful so that we unravel where the vehicles are.
But I'm surprised you are asking for IYOCO in a situation where there is no pointed issue on crime. I mean, this is simply non-alignment of expenditures and assets. The asset indicated, we are indicating that the social welfare institution or organization which was with us is no longer with us, is now with the gender ministry. So if you are asking for issues and we are telling you the issues are we don't have records on it, it's simply to say, like the chairman has said, let's trace up to where it is and then come back and give records. IYOCO, what will IYOCO be doing? There's no issue of crime here. It's just non-alignment. The records are there, but they are not with us. They may be with the social welfare, which is easy for us to go and check. Or we could simply say that, well, this question is no longer with us because it's now with another ministry. We could have replied that way, but it's important for us to come here because we were invited. Yeah.
At the time of the audit, was social welfare part of this ministry?
Yes, it was.
So at the time of the 2024, social welfare was part of this ministry.
2024. No, 2024 it was not. 2011. He's talking about 2011 when the vehicles were bought.
No, I'm talking about at the time of the audit.
No.
Now, auditors, if social welfare was not part of this ministry, why wouldn't this audit go under Ministry of Gender?
Honorable Chairman, the information we got from the Ministry of Finance, these particular transactions were captured under the current Ministry of Labor. Jobs, yes.
2011, it was under Labor then?
No, we did the audit in 2025. We were to validate those liabilities that were submitted to the Ministry of Finance. Now, the transaction in question was captured in the Ministry of Finance schedule that was provided under
their ministry.
Their ministry, yes.
So, Honorable Minister, this was captured under your ministry. That was sent to Ministry of Finance. It wasn't Gender who sent it.
Oh, I'm simply saying because of the transition, the movement, they may have carried the information to that ministry.
Okay.
So, but we will check if indeed there is something wrong. We will definitely come back and report.
Okay.
That there is something wrong, and my brother's Yoko issue can now come in.
So please, Madam, let's find out what happened. Let's find out where the vehicles are. It is true that we may have bought the vehicles in 2011, but then the vehicles would have ended somewhere. Either it was auctioned during the period or whatever it is. What happened to the money? We need to get to the bottom. We need to get to the bottom of it. Okay, now let's go to the next question. Honorable Hetoje will handle that one.
Yeah, so, Madam, we'll be happy to have a copy of your fixed assets register. No, not today, but you provide the committee with it as soon as possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Chairman, with respect, Madam gave an explanation in terms of fair wages, and as fair wages is here, is that an amount of 700 was declined on the basis that those works were not done, and those were in 2024. So if you can tell us the status of the work for which that rejection was done, whether it's been completed, the full work has been completed or not, that from the basis upon the rejection is.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, to the best of my knowledge, that work has not been done and is not going to be done. We've not requested for payment, and so it's not part of it.
So that, and wouldn't that work not being done affect the expansion project that was being undertaken at the fair wages?
No, Mr. Chairman, from our records, ECG indicated that we needed a separate transformer from the community. And so the contractor added a transformer to this. But now that is not the case, so it's not going to be done.
And are you comfortable working without the transformer? As per the recommendation of ECG, you needed a transformer, and now that has been taken out. Wouldn't that affect your operationalization?
ECG provided us the transformer.
Oh, themselves, so you are not paying for it again?
No.
And they are not going to bring any bill again? No. All right. Thank you very much, Chairman.
Thank you, Chairman. This infraction has to do with long-standing payments amounting to 269,842. The auditors identified 3 long outstanding transactions totaling 269,842, ranging from 3 to 12 years in the Ministry of Finance schedule, but not in the Ministry of Labor, Job and Employment schedule. What contributed to this?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, it is the same issues that we were discussing earlier in connection with those vehicles. The price adjustment by Sterling Automobile and the Nissan Tida vehicles. Because, like I'm saying, we don't have those documentations. We didn't raise it to Ministry of Finance. But then maybe over the years, Ministry of Finance already had this information, and that is how come they have escalated it. But we don't have those information. That is why. Thank you.
All right. Then the other issue has to do with BTA amounting to 37.4 million paid after 2024 year end. They say out of the total BTAs validated amounting to 39,396.279. The auditors noted that BTA number 719554 amounting to 37,399.686 relating to pending payment to the Youth Employment Agency as at 31st December 2024 has been paid after the year end by the Ministry of Labor, Job and Employment in February and March 2025. Why that respond?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, the YAA is no more under the ministry. So, but then as at that time, their transactions have been processed under the ministry, and then the BTAs had come. So we had to pay them. But then they are currently no more under the ministry, so we can't speak for them unless they themselves come to speak.
Mr. Chairman, this alignment and non-alignment is troubling. And we are catching the people who are not supposed to be caught.
You see, Madam, since this special audit, have you made, okay, let me rephrase my question. There's a recommendation by the auditors, and I'm sure you've read it. The Ministry of Labor should designate an officer within the Finance Department to regularly update and review the aging analysis, regular reconciliation of outstanding balances between departments and suppliers and contractors should be conducted in order to validate the accuracy of aging analysis and resolve discrepancies earlier. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
What have you done about it?
I have to come back to the give miss again. Currently, the way the system works, we are not supposed to even have outstandings by the end of the year.
Then why are we having outstandings?
Normally, when we have outstandings at the end of the year, we charge it to the following year's budget. It becomes the first call on the following year's budget. So what we're discussing right now would have been, if some of them would have been the first call on the 2025 budget. But because the auditors picked them so those things were not done. That is why we are discussing them right now. Finance does not even allow us now to have outstandings. If you have outstandings, it goes against your budget the following year. So the recommendation of the auditors, yes, but the institutions themselves are working on it, because the moment you know you have outstandings and it can't be paid, your next year's budget, that is the first call on it. Thank you.
Minister.
Yes,
I guess we've come to the end of this, but I know that you'll be back next year. This year, because I'm not comfortable about the accounting department. I just can't put my finger on it. But I know when you come back, we'll discuss it. Your ministry, because of finance, you are discharged.
Mr. Chairman, let me thank you for this process, and we are grateful for what has happened. And the outstanding issues we have to bring to your notice, we definitely will honor and bring them. And we'll be much more up and doing to make sure the accounts department works to the best of our expectations. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. May we call Minister of Foreign Affairs, please?
The evidence I shall give before this committee, touching the matter and issue, shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
We're doing the back?
Yeah. We done?
Please introduce yourself to the committee.
Good morning once again, and thank you very much, Chairman. Thank you, members of the committee. I'd like to introduce my team here. We start from the very far left. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Kwekuche Usu, Director of Procurement.
Good morning. My name is Solomon Akwa, Director of Inspectorate and Internal Audit Bureau.
Good morning. My name is Ambassador Khadija Idrisu, Chief Director.
Good morning. My name is Lambert Suglo, Director of Finance and Accounts.
Good morning. My name is Bafoche, the former Director of Finance and Accounts, now Deputy Controller Accountant General.
Good morning, Chair. I think we already did introduction, but once more, the Member of Parliament for the good people of Ashanti North, and daily infractions. Thank you.
188 million. Out of this, 180 million was validated and 7420 was rejected. Yes. From this, you submitted 47.9 million Ghana cedis to Ministry of Finance for them to submit to the auditors for validation. Out of this, 3.4 million, which was already settled, was added to the 47.9 for BTA, that's bank transfer advice. Explain to us why this figure was re-added, while it has been settled already.
Thank you. We will yield that question to my Chief Director.
Okay.
Thank you, Chair, for the question. This amount from the auditor's report indicated that it was paid from allocated funds. So once it was paid from government allocated funds, it was deemed to have been settled, and there wasn't any further request. There shouldn't have been any further request for release of funds. However, I may want to state here that this amount that was used for the payment of utility bills was indeed paid from committed government funds. We had to pay this amount out of the committed government funds, committed because they were committed in the budget for other purposes, for other payment for other goods and services. But because the utility companies were threatening disconnection, out of good judgment, management decided that let us use this amount that was earmarked for our rental payments in our missions abroad to quickly plug in, with the hope that once we had processed through the GiveMix system payments for these utilities, once we get it, we could plug in back. But this was not the case. As we speak now, these missions are still in arrears of rent. And we accordingly would indicate to the chair that as a matter of agency, we need to get the money to pay the rent to save the image of the country. Thank you very much.
Yeah. In taking that decision, you needed to seek advice or clarification from Ministry of Finance. Did you do that?
No, we didn't get back to Ministry of Finance because we had already processed it. We knew it was a matter of a week or so, and quickly it was going to be released because the BTAs were already prepared, but we didn't go back to them.
So this is a misapplication of fund. And then you know the consequences when you misapply funds, the consequences per the PMF Act. So what are you telling us? Now that you have misapplied it, because you were saying you didn't know the money will keep that long. So you were just trying to do an intervention so that when the money comes, you plug in the money. And here is the case, it has taken days, it has taken months, and the money has not been paid. So who is supposed to be blamed? And this is the main reason why you should have sought permission from the Ministry of Finance before doing that. So you have clearly violated the law. So advise us what we should tell the Attorney General.
Actually, because it's goods and services, we thought that at management level we could actually have handled that. You know, we didn't know that it's needed to go to a Ministry of Finance.
Yeah, so Chief Director.
You are coming, okay.
Chief Director, any time there is a budget attached to various activities, if you want to veer from any activity, you need to seek permission. Because Ministry of Foreign Affairs is not an island on their own. You must seek permission. And for not doing that, I mean, you are infringing on the PFM Act. And then that's not right.
Well noted, sir. And going forward, we shall do the needful.
Yes, okay.
Chair, thank you very much. Madam Ambassador, you said the amount was for rent of our missions abroad, and that amount was used to pay for ECG bills. Is it for the ministry, ECG bill, is it for the ministry? That is about 3-point-something million as we see. Was it only bills for the ministry?
Yes, there were bills for the ministry at different times.
So the 3 million was for which period? Because we are looking at over 3 million Ghana cedis in terms of bills that were paid.
It is in two settlements. One of them was 589,000, and one of them was 2.8. It was for a long period that the bill was not paid.
A long period.
So it was a cumulative bill they brought. So we have the payment schedule here. It wasn't paid once at 3.4 million. There's several payments that added up to the 3.40 million. So
the BTA dates are all in 2024. Am I right?
Yes, please.
Yes. So which period do these BTAs cover? Because we are looking at payments in 1 year for amount of 3.4 million Ghana cedis. And it says for a very long period. Because if you are looking at 3 million Ghana cedis in terms of ECG bills, these are huge. And if it's for the ministry alone, then these are huge figures. Whilst trying to do that, madam, we are looking at a rejected amount of 7 million. We are looking at a rejected amount of 7.4 million. And we are looking at the payment out of that 7.4 million that you'd want to justify as 3.4 million for bills. So the difference between those two, what is accounting for that rejection?
Mr. Chair, we also have 377,908 in respect of construction of Nigerian High Commission, which was also rejected. This came about for the same reason. If you may recall, there was an issue where the Nigerian High Commission building was pulled down by some unidentified persons, and it became an international issue. They also had to go to our missions in Abuja and Lagos, trying to take over our properties, and there were a lot of back and forth. And the government then decided that in line with the international best practice, we have to restore the building. So the time that we put in the amount for the release, that was when the trouble started. It wasn't coming, and we had to quickly find money again to pay. And this money was also committed funds earmarked for our missions in Riyadh, New York, Lomé, Berlin, and Rabat for their residential furniture and then vehicles. As we speak now, honorables, those of you who might have visited our missions, I know each time you travel, you try to make time to visit our missions. You know that they are very often, when it comes to some of these things, to come with vehicles and their office furniture and that of their homes. And it's still the case, because we need to plug in the money back to make sure that they procure these items that the funds were earmarked to do. Thank you.
Madam, how would the directive by the state, if I may put it that way, to restore a property that was demolished not be catered for in terms of finances? Because you said when the Nigerian High Commission building was pulled down, it was directed that we restore that. How would that not be accounted for? And that would require that you use your goods and services to go and pay for that. Who awarded the contract?
Budgeted. It was budgeted for. So the ministry had actually put in requests for release of funds. It was again due to the delay. That is why, and to safeguard the situation, lives and properties, we had to quickly take this quick decision to plug in that money, so that with the hope that it will be returned to us to be used for the purpose for which it was budgeted.
Madam, let me ask this. In taking the decision, you see, when they wanted to take over our property in Nigeria, it was therefore prudent for you to pay for the one in Ghana. But when you are dealing with ECG in Ghana, and you are dealing with a foreign property owner that houses our missions abroad, how then do you go about taking that decision to pay locally and leave our missions rent outstanding? Assuming that after leaving, those rent expired and we did not pay, and they were asked to move out of those missions that you failed to pay the rent for without seeking proper authorization, but ended up paying the rent, the light bills in Ghana, what would have been the consequences putting those two together? And I think, let us not base that on late releases for ECG bills, but you made a decision when you had funds to pay the rent, but you paid the ECG bills. What would have been the consequences, and upon what basis did you take these decisions?
At the time we were paying, the rents were not due then. So we were hopeful that by the time the rent became due, the money too would have been released. However, we have very good relations with the tenants because we have been very good tenants. So they got to understand that it was just due to circumstances beyond our control. So we're fine at that, but we don't have to overstretch it. We need to keep that sound relations going forward. Thank you, Chair.
Those electricity.
Chair,
yes,
sorry.
please. Yes, sir.
Oh, I just wanted to add a little. You see, this has been a very prudent practice. If you're looking at the submission our CD is presenting right now, it was based on urgency, lack of resources, monies that were not coming to the ministry at the appropriate timing.
Minister.
The finance minister.
With respect, Minister.
Yes.
I think we probably would have left it where the chief director may have, because the decisions that she took and the justifications, if not for anything at all, probably you may not accept. But if we move on the tangent of lack of releases and that, there were money meant for something. All that you needed to do was to chase the money meant for the other. You took a decision. We may accept it for now. If you don't leave it here, we overstretch. We probably may have to go into the matter well, and that will become another issue. So with all respect, if we may leave it there and continue, I think probably it will be helpful.
Thank you for your advice. And I think I'm glad, and I also appreciate that you have accepted her explanation for that matter. Thank you.
Yeah, so Madam Chief Director, my follow-up with regards to that is those who broke the Nigeria building, is it a company or individual involved? And how would they, cause that harm to a foreign mission property, and you expect the state to be paying for that? I want to understand that.
Mr. Chair, this was a presidential decision, and in line with international law and the Vienna Convention, we just have to do so. It's within the law to do so, to make sure that there were hooligans. We couldn't put our hands that this is the fellow who did that, so that the fellow could be taken to court or anything. they said it was demolished by hooligans, so.
At the embassy, they don't have any CCTV camera or anything to actually avert those who actually damaged the building.
During the time, they had constituted a committee involving national security, the police, and all that. So it was out of their reports that that decision was taken by the government to pay. So they did all that. They did all that, but came to that conclusion that it has to be restored. Thank you.
So the electricity bill in 2024 that created this, was the money ever paid by the government at that time?
We are still pursuing payment, Chair.
Yes. And there are questions. Director, again, your outfit submitted 377,508 Ghana cedis as commitment and 3,641,000 as claims for validation by the Auditor General. Meanwhile, these monies have been paid already. Why were they resubmitted to the Ministry of Finance?
Thank you, Chair. As I indicated earlier, these are all committed funds that needed to be paid. Looking at, we paid Addis Ababa Mission, we owe them for the construction of our Chancery building. It's the contract sum in US dollars because it's out of our jurisdiction of 1,747,729.48. So this amount was validated by the auditors. However, they had an issue to do with the exchange rate at the time. At the time of requesting the release, the ministry used an exchange rate of 15.25 USD to $1. But let me, so making them reject 2,638,910.18 as part of the amount you've just quoted. They are putting them all together is what we've just quoted. But what we said was that normally we do that, but at the point of releasing the amount, Ministry of Finance will always use the exchange rate of the day. So you wouldn't be having this money that they are rejecting going forward. And then we also had undertaken the renovation of the residence of our ambassador in Paris. And we had additional works carried out to the tune of euros 589,772.00. And they rejected about, in Ghana cedis, 794,170.00. That is equivalent of 50,000 US dollars. Euros was rejected. And what we are here to do today is to prove that indeed we still owe the contractor. Because out of this amount of 589,772 euros, we had, the ministry had a payment schedule with the contractor. Unfortunately, we were not able to follow through with the payment. We had agreed on installments payments, 300,000 first installments, euros, second installment, and we paid first installment of 300,000 euros. The second installment, we were supposed to have paid 150,000 euros. However, we were unable to do so, so we paid 100,000. So, and leaving 50,000. So the third installment, we paid, we were supposed to have paid 125, we paid 125. Then the third installment, we were supposed to have paid 14,772.20 euros. That one we didn't pay. So now we owe the contractor to the tune of 64,000 euros, 772.20. And we have the documents to support that indeed this amount is still outstanding. So we'll be handing over the documents regarding the payments made so far.
Yeah, Director, noted. So your claim is that you still owe the contractors?
Yes, sir.
But the stance of the auditors is that these monies have been fully paid and the work has completed.
Yes, sir.
So auditors, where are they? Yes, this is what Director is telling us. So how do we reconcile what he's saying and what you have also put on the records?
Auditors, even before, were they part of the exit meeting? Madam, were you part of the exit meeting?
I was not there at the time.
Who was there among you?
Yeah, Mr. Chair.
You were part of the exit meeting?
Yes, please.
So you are not able to actually give documents to the auditors to rectify this until it comes to the notice of public account hearing, before you are claiming that you have the documents here?
Thank you very much. The projects are basically handled by the estate department, where the files are all kept. And during the exercise, they were not able to produce all the vital documents. But along the line, during the meetings at the Ministry of Finance, I was reassigned for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to the Control Accountant General. So I didn't get the opportunity to attend all the meetings on behalf of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs when I handed over. Thank you, Chair.
And not fully participated in terms of the exit meeting. That's all. Auditors.
Honorable Chair, so these were claims that we had rejected, and it was discussed at the our meetings held with them. If they have compelling evidence that should cause us to change our stance, they can still provide them to the audit team to look at it. But as it is per our report, these claims, in our opinion, have been settled, and that we don't owe the contractors involved. But if they have compelling evidence to change our stance, our position, they can still provide them to the audit team to look at it. Thank you.
Madam, very similar to what I was contemplating. This committee, this is the wrong place to bring these issues. These issues should have been brought at the time of the audit, to the auditors. And there's still the opportunity for you to go there. Ours is a post-mortem. Post-mortem is when the person has passed away, we cut the body. Oh, this was what killed that. That was what killed that. But I can't look at the body and say, if I had given him more aspirin, the person would have lived. That's when the auditors are involved. So we are looking at what had happened. So any issues, you can deal with the auditors on that one. I think we are done with this. You have a last question?
Yeah, I have a last question.
Before I discharge.
Yes, that infraction is on non-evidence of maintenance of aging analysis of arrears and commitments. Director, where's your finance director?
I'm here.
Okay, Director, I am a non-finance person. Yes, I want you to briefly educate me on the implications of non-maintenance of aging analysis when it comes to financial reporting. Briefly educate me as a non-finance person.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Non-maintenance of aging payables or whatever, we all know the implications. It may not let you get a proper figure at the time you want it, or it will take time for you to get the proper data when it is wanted. So based on the recommendation given, we have put in place to make sure that we perform aging analysis of all our payables as we perform reconciliation every month. So that is what is in place.
Director, you see, you know the implications of the implication of this very infraction. You know, you have told us. Why will you wait for the auditors to come to tell you, do this before you do, knowing very well that if you don't keep these records, these are the consequences? Director?
Honorable Chair, we tried, maybe it was not updated, not that we didn't put it. It is in place, but it's not updated. So I'm saying that now we update it as it should be.
Okay.
When did you become Director of Finance at the Ministry?
October 2025.
October
2025.
And respectfully, Chief Director, when did you also become the Chief Director there?
End of August 2025.
Okay, thank you.
Chair. Oh, Chair. I think we are done. Or these things will keep repeating. Aging analysis, they will come, you ask them, they will tell you. And every day, these things keep repeating. So,
maybe as a country, if we start maybe imprisoning people for not aging these accounts, I think it will help. Madam, your building in New York is 14 floors, and you use only 3 floors. And that place is in center of town, of New York. I think it's 47th floor, 47th Street, no so.
Yes, sir. It's in a prime location.
Very prime location. Somebody supposedly removed insulation or something, and as a result, 14 stories. We use 3 or most 4. Goodness, do you know if this building, we could use all 14 floors, the revenue that we will get from rent, or some of our embassy people wouldn't have to rent from somewhere. Anyway, that is something that I just wanted to put in the air somewhere. Do you have an answer?
Your observation noted, Chair.
Madam, my observation noted. No, you see,
we are working on it as part of our stride, so it's work in progress.
Madam, I'm disappointed because the time that I went there was 2007. 2007, and it's still work in progress. 2007, you were only using 3 floors out of 14 floors. And General Achampon was the one, I think, who bought that building. Center of New York. Anyway, you said it's noted.
Thank
Madam,
you, Chair.
You guys are distracted.
Chairman.
Yes.
Chairman,
Yes,
thank you
sir.
very much for your observation, but I think that your observation is a little bit way outdated. If you have not been there recently, We are using more than 3 floors right now. But in the same token, we are working to improve.
How many floors are you using, Honorable Minister?
Well, I can assure you about 7 to 8 floors.
So, let's give you that we are using 8 floors.
Yes.
And it's 14 floors.
Yes. It's based on investment, renovation, all kinds of aspects. So we are entering this new phase of stride, where we're trying to own our properties, renovate all the structures. So it's one of our prime observations, and we are going to work on it as soon as finances are released. Thank you.
You see, Minister, there was a story they told me about it, but I will not repeat it here.
With respect, Chairman. Chairman, as I read the Auditor General's report and the explanation Madam Ambassador gave with respect to the Paris project and the JV Shindon and Design 21 project, Madam, how long have we held on to the documentation that proved that we still have an outstanding bill on those 2 projects?
If I can come in, when, like my colleague said, when he was reassigned and we took over